Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, June 6th, 2024. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Thursday, everyone. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame here. The previous session, massive breakout and trend day situation, price discovery phase throughout the session, two new highs. Again, yesterday initially we were watching two-day highs. How was price going to react at two-day highs? Was it going to see a fade back into the previous range, or were we going to see a full-on breakout? We saw a full-on breakout and continuation, especially behind NVIDIA and tech strength. The NQ leading the market higher as well. Big time continuation here to the upside and new highs, or right at prior highs now. You'll notice here heading into the RTH session right now and into pre-market economic data, we have a very narrow range right now. 17% of ADR, 10 points of range right now as the market awaits initial jobless claims and other pre-market economic data points. And then Friday morning prior to the RTH open, we have non-farm payrolls as well. With this upward move here, the expectation is for a continuation to the upside. This might be the moment here where we actually reach 5,400. 5,400, the other side of the market structure. 5,000, the lower part of the market structure here, and any pullback today, even as deep as 53.60, could be an opportunity for this thing to squeeze into 5,400. We could see about a plus 60 today. We've been averaging 60 points per day on a 10-day basis and 64.5 on a 5-day basis. So you can see right here, 64.5 here, 60 here. And that could be about what we see again today if we see a nice little continuation to the upside. So any pullback here this morning, bulls will look to defend into morning weakness for a checkmark continuation up. Now, after a big high range day like this, there is a tendency to stay flat and just kind of trade in a range. Again, with pre-market economic data, perhaps we see a little bit more volatility than that. But for the most part, even if we do go trading range market, fade the edges with an upward bias as this market continues to squeeze toward 5,400. All right, taking a look here at the NQ. Similar price action here. The NQ stretched tremendously in the previous session. One thing we mentioned about a potential breakout yesterday in the pre-market video was watch the key range from Monday's market, because that key range right there could give us a 100% target. That 100% target came in right at 19,075, and it reached it by the end of the session. Very end of the session, we got to squeeze into that target, and it was a full-on 100% move. We're now at about 19,100. Again, another narrow range, just 15% of ADR, 43.5 points right now. So very nothing overnight trade here as the market again awaits initial jobless claims and other pre-market economic data points. This market could be squeezing toward the 19,220 level. That's going to be the 50% extension right here from this large key range that is developed from previous impulse movement to the downside. So we got that breakout through the top of the range. It came back, challenged, and is now working higher. So we could be looking at a 19,220 target here early in the day. Again, any pullback, even if that pullback is a little deep here, could be a buying opportunity today for a continuation up until proven otherwise. Looking at crude oil, crude up about 0.9% right now. Seeing a little bit of a bounce back. The previous session was a two-day trading range. It did squeeze late in the session here, but mostly a two-day trading range. We are approaching the falling 8-period average here, which is 75.70. Right now, 74.76 is current last price. Is this going to lead to a lower high and continuation to new lows? That's the question right there, because again, we didn't get a strong low on these lows. Initially, I mentioned before that if we can get ourselves a strong low, that would bookend the strong high here. We could see a 50% snapback trade. And we didn't quite get a strong low, but we did get a two-day trading range with some strong lows that are in the range, especially yesterday. The afternoon low or the midday low was pretty solid in the hourly chart. So again, Not the strongest low here, but this low becomes stronger and stronger the farther price gets away from it. Can we get a 50% snapback and get ourselves a new key range? Or do we see another round of selling pressure up ahead? Again, the key level to continue to watch will be the previous session's high. Any failure there, and we're back inside the range below. All right, let's take a look here at gold futures. Again, gold having a back and forth price action here lately. Up a day, down a day, up a day, down a day. This was an up a day the previous session. Today, do we get another down a day? Currently seeing a little bit of a tail event develop here. Higher high failure, so a pretty strong rejection in overnight trading. Now trading right at the 2380 level. It's been a trading range here, and this market really hasn't wanted to get away from this range just yet. Do we fall back into the range here up ahead? That could easily be in play. So again, keep an eye on the previous session's high price, 2377.60. A failure back below that level, and you start to rotate back in the range, keeping the up a day, down a day pattern in play. Taking a look here at the YM now. The YM down just a hair right now. Narrow range, 15% of ADR, kind of like the other markets. Awaiting pre-market economic data. This one did not rally quite like the ES and the NQ. Instead, this actually got the fade of two-day highs right back toward 38,600 and the previous session's midpoint. It actually faded right back down with a strong impulse move to begin the day, found a strong low, and then snapped back and held steady. So blue chips not really playing along with the ES and NQ rally. We do have a very clear kind of wedge pattern that's developing here, kind of an odd wedge pattern, and at some point here that may trigger a breakout move, perhaps to the upside to play a little catch up here. So can this thing start pushing through 39K and the previous month's midpoint? If so, you start to open up the upside back higher toward 39.8, 40,000, and perhaps above. As of right now, narrow range inside day, and any pullback this morning could be seen as a buying opportunity. That's been the case each of the first 3 days of the week, and it was the case ever since the late Friday squeeze. Taking a look at Bitcoin here, Bitcoin continues to kind of just work its way quietly higher. This is not a major breakout from that narrow range. It continues to honor the boundaries of the larger trading range, 57K up to 74K, and it is fastly approaching that 74K upper boundary as this market continues to work higher from 57K. So at some point here, it's going to be a decision point. Do we see a breakout and continuation? I think that might be headline related. Until then, until we get that headline out of ETH, we could be stuck in the range. So even if we do reach 74, it could be a rotation back down within the range towards 69, 68, kind of the midline of this range. Maybe we stay in this upper portion. If we can get some good positive headline risk here, then perhaps we get the upside breaking continuation. So right now, modestly working its way higher towards 74s, but wouldn't be surprising if we turn back into the range. Looking at ETH, this thing continues to build a super narrow range here. We're working on 10, 11 days or more of compression here. We're talking about 1,000 to 1,200 points of range, and that's continuing to grow. As I've mentioned before, any pullback could be a buying opportunity. So if this thing pulls back into, say, 3,600, that could open the door for a rally to 4,600, perhaps even 4,800 up above. So again, 1,000 points to 1,200 points of range could be seen once we get a breakout from this narrow range of price action. Again, that could be awaiting headlines out of a potential spot ETF. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this develops here heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.